Hey everyone, welcome back to CryptoCache. Thanks so much for joining me here. Hope you're having an amazing day. Happy Friday to you. We're going to take another look here at Bitcoin, see kind of what's going on, and help us understand, big picture, best practice. Hopefully, kind of identify a direction here. And I think it's kind of telling us what it wants to do, but we'll double check everything and make sure that we are on the safe side there. That being said, if you're new to the channel, welcome once more. I hope that you learned something here. I've been trading for a very long time, and my goal is to help you become a better trader. So CryptoCache.tech is a site you can join, of course. I've got over 250 monthly members here, and what we do is we all learn and grow together, provide you with trade signals, as well as a community/academy where I actually teach you how to trade if you want to learn more about what I do here every single day for a living. I can tell you this is a very comfortable lifestyle. As long as you have kind of a good head on your shoulders and you're calm and collected, it doesn't help to be an emotional wreck, if that makes sense. I think we all know that. Hard not to be emotional when your money's on the line, right? That being said, we'll go ahead and take a look here and see what we can do to be less emotional in this environment, but also in general, what's going on here with Bitcoin. So look at the moving averages, we can see we're still below that. We've been below that for a while. The 50-day SMA is going to probably just continue to average itself sideways at 42,000. So it does reaffirm the fact that 42 will be a strong resistance if we can get back up there, okay? That said, we are printing lower highs and lower lows still at this point, okay? So if you kind of look at this, everything's kind of pointing down so far, and we need to be realistic in the sense that we may not see the price shoot back up again. And once again, that could still happen. An increase inevitability is definitely there. I think we're still going to see that. But it just feels like there's more downside first before we get to that upside. All right. So again, not in terrible shape, but definitely not great. We can see, last 2 days of trading getting kind of stopped out. You can see that we got a candle wick up here all the way to the previous resistance of 40,400, or just say 40,500 is a pretty round number to understand that that is a strong resistance level. Until we can break above that, we're still making lower highs, and that is not good. That's typically disadvantageous. Taking a look at the RSI, of course, as well, we can see that we are losing momentum. The price is slowly decreasing, and RSI can stay under 50 for a very long time, and we've seen that happen so far for almost the entire month of April. So at this point, April was a terrible month, for lack of better terms, for a lot of folks, including myself. And just so you know, you're not alone. This was a tricky month to trade, but in the big picture, where are we going to go from here? And then to me, what's going on is it does feel like there's some downside continuing to occur. All right, so again, we're looking pretty good there in that sense, but not great. Okay, obviously the price continues to dissipate, and what we could expect to see is another retest of 37,700, or even just say 37.5. That is a potential reality at this point, based on the way that it's progressing slowly and consistently working within this trend line to a downside. Now, if you recall, we were working upwards in a nice trend as well, but once we broke below that trend line, you see how it became a resistance level? That is disadvantageous, and then also, of course, we can acknowledge the fact that we've seen this continuation to the downside. So once more, at this point, just traditionally speaking, when you see a trend line like that, a break of a previous positive trend line, and then a creation of a new not so positive trend line, whatever word you want to use to describe that, we can anticipate that the price will continue to go down until it breaks that trend. So until we get a clean break above this trend line here that's continuously pushing the price action down, we shouldn't feel bullish whatsoever, if that makes any sense. I don't think we should feel bullish in general, or even bearish, honestly. We shouldn't take a stand, but we should acknowledge the fact that the price is slowly bleeding out, and the anticipation is the price will likely go down first before it comes back up. All right. But once again, you hold something down for so long, it can only surface, but you have to understand there's a lot of crazy market conditions too as well, and the overall inflation, everything kind of is coming to a head, and it's affecting Bitcoin more than you'd like, or at least more than most people would like. Obviously, it shouldn't happen. It's deflationary, but more importantly, it's decentralized too. That's the whole point of it, is to kind of break free from the market when we're completely reliant on it. So whatever. Anyways, regards to that fact, take a look here at the 4 hour. What we're looking at here is, of course, we can see that we've got some pretty strong resistance at the 50-day SMA. 1 and 2 rejections here so far. So that's kind of telling me that we're still in a downtrend until we can break back up above the 50 and perhaps even this trend line as well. Only then I'd feel a little bit more comfortable. We'll take a look at the cloud as well and kind of see. I'm fairly certain we're going to be back below the cloud, but we're under 50 on the RSI. Effectively got rejected out by that mid-level. And if we look at the MACD, we're diverging, of course, at this point. Traditionally speaking, if you were to just use the MACD solely, the 4 hours is the best time frame, and this is indicating that we're seeing a shift in momentum from the 1 hour to the 1 day. In other words, those last 48 hours of green candlesticks is getting reversed now, and we're essentially seeing a potential of that same inverse apply down here. It also doesn't help that we have a gravestone type of candlestick here forming on the 4 hour. While we still have an hour left of trading in this candlestick, that's typically not a good sign as well. So there's not really much positive on the 4 hour. There's not really much we can see there. We've also got a bearish engulfing candle here, likely spelling a turnaround. You can see the same thing happened recently before the price decreased. So again, it's not looking great for Bitcoin. There's no doubt about it. Let's take a look here at TD sequential and kind of see. We came down to a 9, got a reset, and we're down to a 5, another reset again. So it literally could continue much further. It's not to say this is healthy per se, but this is not an unhealthy decrease. In other words, the probability of the price coming down lower and more consistently lower is still there based on the fact that this is not a terrible, crazy, all over the place type of pattern. It's a consistent, just making lower lows and lower highs. That's all there is to it. So we can anticipate that to continue to happen until it turns itself around. And ultimately what we're looking for is to see what happens at 37,700. Because that level was tested twice here recently. So the price does come back down to that point. You could expect the price to potentially either A, get rejected, or B, continue past that point, because the more often you test something, the more likely it is to break. So again, just something to think about there. Looking at the Ichimoku cloud too, we can see we're back below the cloud, and you see how it came down and tried to come up and get rejected by the cloud now. Now this lower lead is essentially resistance. Okay, so now that we've lost the cloud, we can anticipate that the price will probably continue to progress lower from here. Okay, so again, not looking great. There's not much here in the sense of Bitcoin kind of like turning itself around. It makes sense too as well. Today being Friday, the last traditional trading day of the month, for this to happen. It's very standard for Fridays to be red days. I've noticed, at least if you have any green during the work week. And we did see an interesting amount of green. Monday, tremendous amount of buying. Tuesday, terrible amount of selling, or tremendous, whatever. And then of course Thursday and Wednesday were both green days, and today getting a rejection. It makes sense. That's very common, standard procedure for trading, unfortunately. So anyways, that's kind of where we're at here for now. It's not great looking into the weekend, but remember to control what you can, and to try to take breaks once in a while. If you sit here and just stare at the charts all day long, which I've done millions of times in the past, I can tell you that it's important to hit the reset button, take a walk, go grab a bunch of water, make sure you stay hydrated, and just keep a good head on your shoulders too, because it's easy to kind of get down on the market right now, but we just got to look at this as a better buying opportunity for when the price comes down lower, or just in general, what goes down must come up, and I do think there's an inevitability, of course, for Bitcoin to recover and do very, very well eventually. But right now, there's no real sign that the technical analysis is telling us that it wants to turn around until we break either A, key level resistances such as the 50-day SMA at 42,000, but more initially to break this trend line that continues to progress down and to work its way. Because a lot of times when you have this downward type of trend, they'll break to the downside based on the fact that it started from an uptrend. Okay, so if it kind of starts from the top and works its way down, the wedge patterns almost always come to fruition to the lower side. All right, and then if you can even look at a larger time frame too, and argue the same thing, where we have this type of pattern here that oftentimes results in a downtrend as a result of breaking free from that. Okay, that's why this upward trend line that we held for quite some time, was very advantageous. It was very helpful to keep us in mind that we're slowly averaging our price up. But now that we've lost that trend line and it's essentially a resistance, we're going to be lucky to be able to break past that point here in the near future. Okay, just some big picture stuff there. So anyways, I hope that made sense to you and I explained this correctly. If you learned something here today, consider joining, or obviously more importantly, just comment below, let me know. I do look forward to hopefully working with you, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Really do appreciate your time here today. We'll talk to you soon. Have a good one. Thanks again.